justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Court TV and Day 3 of the Daniel versus King Darius trial. We've heard the testimony, seen the evidence, and listened to the closing arguments, and we expect a verdict any minute now.
But if you're just joining us, here's a recap of the events that led to the downfall of Daniel, the golden boy from Judah. You'll recall that just a few weeks ago, King Darius, may he live forever, decided, in his wisdom, to reorganize the kingdom and put Daniel in charge. 120 governors were now forced to report to him, and they were not pleased.
Dandy Daniel, the dream interpreter, is now our boss, and he's not even Persian. I am not taking orders from a foreigner.
I don't care how smart he is, how honest he is, how brave he is. He's still an Israelite.
We conquer Israel, take half of the country hostage, bring them back to Babylon as our slaves, and then let one of them run the country? Not on my watch.
And the ridiculous God of his. Every time I'm walking by his house, I see him on his knees, praying to a God we can't even see. Hey, I might just know a way to get rid of old dear Dandy Dan.
Eager to knock Daniel off his lofty perch, those governors requested an audience with the king.
Did they have a frank and open dialogue on the issues? Well, no, not exactly.
Most powerful. Well, I try. Darius the Stupendous. Your realm stretches as far as the eye can see, filling the earth with splendor. You're too kind.
O king, most kind and caring. In recent polls, you received 85% approval ratings on issues of homeland security and the economy.
Well, our boy Daniel is doing a fine job of running things, isn't he?
And we, therefore, entreat you, King Darius, to establish a new law, which stipulates that no one may pray to any god except for you.
His talents are so various.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. A new law was added to the books. King Darius is no longer just a man, he's now a god.
Just one of the many gods in the Persian pantheon. But the new law didn't stop there. For the next 30 days, no one may pray to any god except Darius.
No more praying to my Gucci handbag god.
No more praying to my Jimmy Choo Shoes god.
And if someone did happen to ignore this new law, say someone chose to continue praying to the one true God of Israel, say someone named Daniel, what's the punishment?
He shall be thrown into the lion's den.
What evidence do we have that Daniel is guilty of this heinous crime?
I saw him with my own eyes, Your Honor. Alone in his room, no statue of the king in sight. Kowtowing toward Jerusalem, muttering in Hebrew. Disgusting! I have the proof right here, Your Honor. See for yourself.
This video clearly shows Daniel worshiping an invisible God. It would be laughable if it weren't so darn creepy.
Yeah, that's right. It's so
Order! Daniel, in this video, you're clearly worshiping a god besides your majesty, King Darius. A god he cannot see, for crying out loud! What do you have to say in your defense, Daniel? Perhaps plead insanity?
Your Honor, I came to this country a prisoner of war and a slave, but over the years I rose through the ranks, and recently King Darius appointed me his chief administrator. How did this happen? Because my God stood by me and I remained faithful to him. Even in the lion's den, I know my God will be by my side.
To do this, but you give me no choice. The law is the law. I hope that God of yours comes through for ya.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Court TV comes to a close. The defendant has been sentenced. Justice has been served. Daniel is now kibble for the kiddies.
But the king wasn't too happy with the verdict, was he? Talk about cruel and unusual punishment.
And our sources tell us that His Majesty went home with a tummy ache and spent the night pacing the floor, tormented by images of what happened to his buddy, Daniel.
But look, the sun is up, and here comes the king.
Yoo-hoo! Daniel! Did your God save you? Are you all right? Stop! Get him out of there!
So, Daniel, what's your secret? A hidden stash of catnip?
Daniel the lion tamer, ladies and gentlemen, and he does it without a whip and a chair.
I'm not the lion tamer, God is.
By golly, Daniel! No matter where you are, that God of yours always comes through for you. From now on, that's the God for me. And for you, and for you, and for you!